How do guys, it's Luke at Geek Gaming Scenics, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build this lovely silver birch tree using some simple techniques to build an ultra realistic tree. So sit back, relax, and I'll catch you after this. So guys, first up we need some wire for making the actual armature, the body of the tree. Now I'm going to be using this garden wire. I think it's actually called florist wire rather than garden wire. I've used a lot of garden wires and things in the past, but the problem is it comes on a reel, you have to unravel it, and then you have to loop it round, and it's a lot of messing around. Best thing about this, you can buy it in 1 foot lengths, grab a good handful of it, and just wrap one piece of wire around to get the main bulk of the tree together. And you have a rough idea of the size and the thickness of the tree straight away. I do advise using some pliers, a couple of pair if you've got them, because the thicker the wire, the harder this stuff is to twist. And even on the single pieces of wire like this, using the pliers you can get a tighter bind, so for the main trunk of the tree it just holds it together far sturdier than twisting it with your fingers. Now, with silver birch trees, it always looks like you have like a sturdy tree in the middle, like a big trunk in the middle, and a couple of other shoots coming off that. So I'm actually making quite a few of these centimetre bulks or 2 centimetre bulks of wire, and I'm going to make each shoot into like a tree section rather than making it all from one stem. So first off, what I do is I just bend a couple of roots out just so I can stand it up while I'm working on it. You could just stick it in some foam if you wanted, but I wanted a base that these could be put in over some compound on the model to form some roots under the earth. So that's why we've done that. Now, starting to bend the tree, as I've said, don't think of this as an entire tree that you're twisting in one go. Think of it as part of a tree. So when you look at some trees and you see how like one half of it is sort of leaning over a bit, think of that bit and try and recreate that in your head. What I'm doing for twisting is I grab like say 30 for example, 30 pieces of wire, and then off that 30 pieces I twist it, and then I twist a couple from that again, and every time I do a twist I take another 2, 3, 4 wires out and just get smaller and smaller branches each time till you're left with some forks, like 3 or 4 forks of stem, and they will start to form the main structure of the tree. And as you keep going up, I mean I haven't got like an equation to give you or tell you how I do it. I just go on my gut, and from looking at trees I imagine where I want to do, and then I just do it. Just if you can't imagine anything, then take a few pictures and try and copy a tree. That's probably the best way to do it. And this time of year when trees haven't got much foliage on, it's a good reference. Now, as you can see, I've done that sort of half that I was talking about, that's like the bit that leans forward. Now, to join these two bits together, this is going to be like the main solid trunk of the tree. Just twist them together with the wire as you did before. Just grabbing a small piece of wire and twisting them together with your pliers. And once that's done, that's what you're sort of left with. Don't worry with them knots where we've twisted it together, we cover them with the texturing later. Now for making the rest of the tree, same principle. The only thing I do is I start up a lot higher than the original smaller part of the tree, and I just make it far thicker so it looks like the main central strong point of the tree, and I just make maybe 2, 3 branches from that go into another 2 or 3 branches. I hope that makes sense. So as you can see, you've got a nice tree here that you can sort of position into shape, so you've got a more interesting side, and then you've got the large bulk of it. Now once you're done, best thing about wire is you can reposition this as you're going along. So as you start putting your substructure on and everything else, you can reposition it. Even once the tree's finished, you've got full control of moving it. Now, a good tip when you're making multiple trees and you want them all to look slightly different, the problem I have is I make a tree in the same way every time. They almost look identical. So what I do is I always take a completely different approach to making every tree. So all these trees here have been done in a similar fashion, but slightly different. So they all look different, even though once we get them done up and everything else, they'll look like lovely birch trees, but all slightly different. This next step is rather messy, so put something down, not your dog. Also, I'd advise putting something on your hands. The magic ingredient that we're going to be using for this is liquid latex. This is purchased at CFS, all the links will be below. Now, I pour this into a small container. In hindsight, I should have just bought a big drum of latex and dipped these. It would have been far quicker and a lot easier. But like me, if you're trying to save a bit of cash by buying it, I bought a small amount and I brushed it on. This does take a bit more time and you have to make sure you get it everywhere. But I put about 4 layers of latex on. The reason we're doing this is a silver birch have got quite a smooth bark. They have got some texture in areas, but for a nice smooth look, to get rid of all the wire twists and everything else, we paint on this liquid latex, let it dry, paint it on again till you can't feel any texture. Now there is other ways to do bark textures like this, but the reason I'm using latex is the customer is adding these to a larger board that he's building for one of his clients. So the reason I've done latex is, say for example I want to put one of these up against a house and a branch is in the way. Rather than cutting a large piece of the tree off, it can reposition the tree. And this is the benefits to latex, is it's just the fact that the tree is very flexible, it's very tough, and it'll stand the test of time even with wargaming. Putting the slight texture on that I want, I'm using a super fine cork powder, which can be bought from Geek Gaming below. I mix this into the latex to make a very thin sort of paste. I don't want it to texture too much, but I still want it to be flexible as well as have a slight texture. Even putting a paste like this on, the texture is rather coarse for a silver birch. We'll get back to this in a second, but if you was creating any other sort of trees that you want this sort of texture on, it's a very good way of doing it because one, this texture is not coming off because latex sticks to itself very well, and two, it's still flexible, so you get a nice finish. You can cover up all them nasty knots and everything and get a really nice smooth texture that's not overpowering. So on smaller scale trees this is perfect. Now when this is dry, as you can see, the texture's pretty nice, however it's too coarse for what I want, and the way I'm fixing this is just by going over it with another 1, maybe 2 coats of latex depending on the amount that I've put on. And that way it doesn't get rid of the texture, it just sort of halves the size of the bump for example, and that way you get a nice texture to work from. Now for painting them I'm just using some black spray paint. And then going from the black spray paint we go to a grey. Now this is just getting a base colour down. Now we're going to get some detail on there using some very special brushes. These are my favourite brushes. If you'd like to buy any, they're in the links below, but they're pretty good for terrain. And they're great if you've got kids. So I use, I think it's a very suited name that's perfect for terrain, called Brain Matter Beige from Army Painter. What I do is I dry brush this over the grey, just to give it some different grey, creamy, dark textures. And what we're going to do to get the black, you get like black lines and spots on silver birch, I'm going to rip up a sponge to get these on. I've never done this before and I thought I'd have a go and try it. However, I wasn't overly pleased with it. Maybe I'd done this too early and not got enough colour variation, but I wasn't overly impressed. I tried this all over all the trees and I kept coming back and thinking about it, and I wasn't overly happy. So once I'd been playing with the colours and dabbing it, moving it around with my finger, when I was finished, it's not that I didn't like it, it's that I thought this is a nice base to do the darker areas from. So what I'm going to do is make a wash to tie all the brush dabs and the dabbing together, because it was a bit contrasty, it was a bit too much. So I'm using the new matte sealant spray as a wash base, because it's got everything in there. It's got your acrylic, it's got your flow aids, and all you've got to do is add some ink to that and you've got a really cool terrain wash. So I'll mix up a nice amount with a really special brush, and we'll literally just bath that all over the trees. And then what I do is I go back in with the Brain Matter beige, I love that name, and I'm just stippling with the brush. It's a little bit wetter than a dry brush, but it's just to get a really random texture, and it sort of does add like what looks like a texture, but it's not, it's just the paint. And I do this with both colours. However, where the darker grey is, where the wash and everything's tied it together, I avoid that. I only go on the highest areas of colour that are there, so you sort of just lightening the already light areas. And then I do the same with the dark grey, which I think it's called carapace grey, I think. It's almost black. And I just stab that in place to get the shapes. If I go overboard, just go back to the pale colour and dab that in place and sort of tie and blend it together. Stippling with the brush was far better than stippling with the sponge. Now doing the canopy of the trees, we're going to be using seafoam. Now on a display tree I always use seafoam because it's the nicest looking. It is a bit brittle and it is okay for wargaming if you use latex on it and things like that, but it does give the nicest look. However, it takes an awfully long time on a tree this size to fit, and it can be quite fiddly, as you'll see later. The best way I can put this on the tree is with a super glue and an activator. Using super glue and an activator just takes the stress out of it. I'm not saying it's completely stress free, but it takes the stress out of it. And the way to do this is just keep adding little bits at a time. What a lot of people tend to do is grab big bits of it and just smash it on. You want to leave quite a lot of space and keep the tree quite airy, because the foliage will fill in space as well. Okay, so this is why it takes a long time. I think a tree this size took me nearly 4 hours of sticking each branch in place, and I used about 30 grams of super glue. So make sure you're in a well ventilated space or a large area when you're working with this, and then it's just a matter of creating the tree canopy and building this up over time. Here is what I mean about it gets complicated. Once doing it for a while and you get into complicated areas where you can't get the seafoam to sit while you're spraying it, you do have to hold it in place while you spray it with the activator, and this happens pretty regular. And when you get to add in your last few bits, you can celebrate. But that's what it looks like, guys. As you can see, you've got the nice airy parts of the tree still. You can still sort of see through it, and that's what you want. You want it so when you put the foliage on, you've still got the airiness of the tree, and that's what I think adds to the realism when you're building these trees. And then it's just a matter of spraying the seafoam to a rough colour of the tree. However, if you do it, spray it a lot darker than I do. The leaves that we're using are leaf cover mid-green from my range, so check that out in the links below. And the way that we're applying that to the tree is using the matte scenic sealant from my range. Spray that all over your tree. Now, what a lot of people tend to do when they're making trees, and I've done this in the past, I've just dunked it in some flock and it's done. You don't want to do that. You want to keep I keep saying airiness, so you can see through the tree. And the way to do this is sprinkle the leaf cover just so it catches the edges of the seafoam and doesn't go too far into the tree. You're just trying to get enough on there so it looks full and it's just catching the edges, because the leaves are just sticking to the tips of the seafoam, and this is what adds to the realism. Now, doing it this way, especially on a tree this size, it's nearly got a circumference of a foot. It took me around 20 minutes to do this, to fill it all, but it looks so much nicer doing it this way. Just keep repeating and keep building this up till you've covered the entire tree, and don't forget to do underneath as well, because underneath normally gets neglected. Now, put a bit more scenic spray on top of the tree. We're going to highlight it to add some sort of more definition to the tree. So we spray it from below, and we're using the leaf cover range light green to highlight this. So just spray from above, don't worry too much about underneath, and just sprinkle this lightly. You don't want to dominate it with this light green. However, if you do mess up, we can fix that later. I actually put too much on this tree in a couple of areas where it was awkward to highlight. Because I'm filming, I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. But what I've done is I just go back over with the mid-green to fix that. Okay, as you can see, I'm struggling to get it in where I want it, and I chuck a lot on and it doesn't look that nice. So what we do is just spray it again, lock it in place, and then just repeat this with a mid-green in that area. And then to complete the seal of the tree and make it pretty robust and solid, just spray it again with more matte scenic sealant, and give this a good few hours to dry out properly, and you have a good rock hard tree. And when you finish, guys, it'll look like that. So I'm back, I'm doing videos, and I've come back at a god awful time, really bad timing on my part, but I've got to get through it. I've been getting the business set up, I've been getting all this space set up. If you're liking this format of video, guys, let me know, because it took quite a lot of effort to get to this. I've still got a lot to learn to improve it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the upcoming weeks and videos and content. But we'll talk more at the end. I'll catch you in a sec. So guys, what do you think? I hope you're liking the new space. The audio's not been sorted yet, but I'll get round to fixing that for you later. I know I've done quite a lot of tree videos over the time, but this one's slightly different. As you've seen, loads of new techniques, loads of new products. And this is for like a display piece. I'm building 4 of them for a client, plus a load of massive pine trees and a few other fruit trees and bits and pieces. So this tree, I've gone to the extra effort to make it look as good as I possibly can at the current time. And I think it's come out awesome. I can't wait to put it in the full layout with all the trees together, because there's loads of them. I think it'll look amazing. What do you think? Put in the comments below. We're still operating as a business, guys, so if you want to buy any of the scenics that have been used in this video, or you just want to top up on any basing materials or anything like that, check out my shop below at geekgaming.co.uk, and you can buy everything you want from there. We're having a pick-up of post every day still, so don't worry about that. So if you want to support me any other way, there's Patreon. You can use Element Games, where you can buy all your Games Workshop things and bits and pieces like that, where I get a bit of a cut, and it really helps support the channel and keeps me doing videos like this. So guys, I've been gone for about a month. I'm coming back now. Now I've got space to work. I can do you videos and everything else. So stay tuned for the next video. I'll see you next week. Love, love, love.